Okay, it's complicated channel is good enough to share his videos with me and say, what do you think? I haven't watched this yet. Let's see what's going on here. Selective biology, rules of modern dating and understanding women. Okay, let's hear it. Oops, sorry. Get that back up.
Physically stronger benefit men if they're burdened with being a protector and a utility, the liability of being a potential predator, and can never be seen as victims.
That's a tough question. I don't really know how to answer that one.
Doesn't strength actually work against men?
I mean, I guess it would work against men in the fact that we have to be out on the front lines, but like that's our job, you know.
Yeah, there you go, guys. Right? He does know how to answer it. He does know how to answer it. Right? He just wants to avoid it. Now he's saying it's just our job. Right?
We're supposed to be protectors and protect everybody else. So it's a double-edged sword, but that comes with the responsibility.
No, no, there's no double-edged sword here. Double-edged sword's just for gaining something from that. Men only lose. Sorry, this guy is lying to himself, right?
Who hired men to do that job?
Uh, God,
What if you're not religious?
then your biological DNA hired you to do.
There you go. There you go, guys. This is why the pro-male collective is against biological determinism. It's an excuse that's never made against women. It's always against men, right? So if a woman bypasses, let's say, a decent guy for a thug, they'll just say, oh, it's just biology, man. She wants someone who will protect her children, the children that she wants to abort, right?
Do that. I mean, if you don't want to go into religion, you can go into science.
Why does society push this narrative that men should protect and provide?
I'd have to say just because of how it was way back in the day when we first started. Men were usually the bigger, stronger ones. Usually had to protect the women.
Because men are big.
Again, hey guys, if it's all about being bigger and stronger, how come there are boy soldiers? Like with child soldiers are always boys. Why don't they enforce women, grown women, to become soldiers? If it's about being bigger and stronger, right?
Bigger, stronger, and faster. You know, women are smaller and weaker than we are, so it's only natural that we provide and protect for them.
Nonsense. Nonsense. Going by that argument, then small, weak men should be provided for by big, strong women.
Think that's just because that's society's interpretation of how it's always been or like how things were in the past. But I think that's a different thing today than it has been before.
It's not possible to keep those same gender roles. You know, I think that when
Yes, it is because men, young ladies, serve. Men are willing to do it. That's why this channel, the Pro Male Collective in general, is trying to deprogram guys. To say you're going to get nothing out of these gender roles.
women have to step up more in a way that they didn't have to before just to make sure they can survive. It's expensive to live in this world today, and I think men and women have to pull the same weight, in my personal opinion.
If men should protect because they're physically stronger, should people with darker skin be required to work outdoors because they tolerate sun better? Or would that
Oh my God, that's a fantastic question. Let's see what she has to say.
sound crazy?
That would sound crazy, but I love the analogy there.
Ah,
But yeah, that would sound crazy, just like to your point. It does sound
this woman is very fair, right? Like I said, there's a range, guys. Like the worst women are totally hostile, and this woman's on the other extreme. She's fair, but in the end, she's always going to, if she gets together with a guy, she'll expect those gender roles from him. Know it.
crazy.
I don't personally believe that men should like be enforced to like protect, and that should be like kind of
Yes, she does. Yes, she does. If she gets a boyfriend, that's what her demands will be.
even on both to protect each other if you're in a relationship with somebody. But that's a fair point.
Why does our society only use biology to justify male obligations?
That's a good question. I think because of, I guess, the like standard that has been set throughout society, people continue to enforce it.
There you go. There you go. And you'll enforce it too, lady. If this woman has a boyfriend, he's going to have to work more hours than her. He's going to have to step up, protect her. She's not going to protect him. So she's just bullshitting when it comes to that.
Why is biology considered sexist when applied to women, racist when applied to groups, but common sense when applied to men's protector-provider roles?
Oh, complicated. That is so awesome. This guy's going to come up with bullshit. Let's hear it.
I think usually because men are usually already set into that role, whereas when we say it about women or people of color, it's usually meant as an offensive term.
Now, you're not.
Yeah, but who's setting us in there? Right? They will say anything but the opposite sex. Right? It comes from some other strange force that's invisible and all around us.
Going to get me to say that darker skin needs to be outside, but when it comes to like men and women, I think a lot of things need to be like re-looked at, and just re-looked at how society is shaped to really how the man and woman work together.
If tall people aren't forced into warehouse jobs, why are men pushed into dangerous roles?
I don't think men should be, but again, I think it's the same precedent. Like men working blue collar or things like that. It's kind of like a societal standard that has just been set. And
yeah, exactly. Set by who? Again, this is what she leaves out. Right? It's always this weird group, this weird force that's outside of me. Right?
continues to be enforced.
Is biology the rule or just the excuse we use when it protects women instead of men?
I think it kind of varies on what you're using it. If you're using it in like a life or death situation, it's an excuse. If you use it for picking up a 50-pound crate, it could be the reason.
Why do we still expect men to be protectors based on the premise that men are stronger while also saying that men today are weak?
I'd say it's kind of a double standard, not wanting to give them too much power while at the same time forcing them to do whatever a person wants.
Well, there you go. They don't want men to have any power. That's right. That guy actually got it right that time.
It is a double standard in and of itself, because if you say that men are weak and then expect them to be protectors, it doesn't make any sense. But I think, again, sometimes there's this set standard that men should be protectors, and maybe when people don't see that happening, they'll say that men are weak.
Why do we reject biological generalizations everywhere except the ones that ask more of men?
Because people hate education and the truth. That's why.
No, you're close, lady. People hate men. Hate education, right?
Is that science or a cultural script that only benefits one side?
A cultural script that definitely benefits one side.
Yeah.
I think scientifically, obviously, men and women are different, and that's like a known fact. But I think...
Yeah, she's making excuses now. Right, exactly. Lady, you're strong enough to pull a trigger. You could go to these wars and get your face shot off like the rest of us guys.
that when whatever side you're argues, they're going to use it to benefit what they believe.
The world is shaped to make it seem...
Yeah, not men, though. These men talking here, they didn't defend themselves with it. They used it to make excuses for their usury, for being used.
Like women are like a damsel in distress and like men have to do everything, but that's not realistic. If you look back, like a lot of tribes, like women were the hunters, women were the ones out getting it.
No, that's a total lie. That you look at tribes now, you can still find tribes, and you only see the men going. I bet I could bring it up in YouTube. Okay.
So I think it's just the way that culture has shaped it.
Maybe I should make sure I know what I'm talking about. Let me pause it and see if we can find any tribes. Okay, intense 8-hour hunt. There's a guy. The hidden tribe, jungle animals with deadly precision. I only see men there, right? Life as a tribe. The women are cooking. That's safe. Oh, look at this. A bunch of guys hunting. Okay. So, lady, it's just a click away to debunk. Okay. Let's continue.
Why are those tribes no longer around?
That's a great question. I have no idea.
If women have better fine motor skills, should they be required to do all the careful or detailed jobs?
Depends on if they know how to do the job better than a man would.
Or do we only believe in biological destiny when it dumps risk on men?
I don't think so. I think that there's differences, but both have like sort of
Okay, you're telling a lie. Continue.
benefits and weaknesses, but can do both jobs, if that makes sense. Like a woman could be a protector and a man could use fine motor skills. It's just might be a little bit more difficult.
Why does biology matter only when it supports a traditional gender role?
I'd have to say, just to be honest, it's because we're used to, so we just continue on because it's comfortable.
No, that's bullshit right there. You're making excuses. No, it isn't. If it's used to, it could be discarded today. You don't want to discard it, dude. This is you being dishonest to yourself.
Who decided which biological facts count and which ones get ignored?
Whoever was in charge at the time,
Who's in charge right now?
usually men.
Well, there you go, dude. You're finally coming close to the truth, right? In other words, you like your servitude. You, as a man, have an instinct to serve women, to pander to women. Exactly. That's what we have to confront.
I think that changes, when the woman has to, is expected to be at home and not work and just cook and clean. I think it changes depending on circumstances.
But are women still expected to be at home cooking and cleaning, or is it their choice to do that?
Literally, they can't, because society is way too expensive for a woman to be at home and a man just to work. You have to be able to live. You both need to be out working with a job.
So why are there so many women who basically expect to be taken care of and are looking for a man to be the sole provider?
Because they were raised wrong. I don't know. I'm like
No. Because that's what women demand of men, and so would you. As much as you like to put on this veneer, this facade of being fair, your man will be treated the same way. You might be forced to go out and work, but if you can get him working, succeeding with enough income, you'll take advantage of that.
wrong person to say that. Women should be out working just like men are. If you want to both be successful, help your man be successful and be out there just like him.
Do weaker or smaller men lose their man card simply because they don't match the biological script society expects?
I think sometimes, yeah, sadly, I don't think it's fair.
There you go. And this is why masculinity has to be thrown in the garbage. You are a man. You're a biological male. You're a man. That's it. So when they talk about man card, there's no definition other than it's what women validate. So if this woman doesn't validate you as a real man, you're not a real man. That's why it has to be ignored. Right?
Because what are you going to really do about that? But I think that, yeah, I've seen that before.
Why is male identity tied to performance rather than personhood?
I don't think it should be, but again, I think it is because of this sort of like cultural idea that men should, like you said, protect and
Yeah, there she is. She's right. It shouldn't be, but it is. But of course, she's blaming the culture, right? In other words, she's not admitting that she's the one who's enforcing it.
provide and be like more manly in a sense.
Mostly because men have always been looked at as a performance type style, less of who they are as a person.
Why don't we change that?
Hard for most people to do that, yet we're trying to slowly but surely with the men actually being open about who they are as people.
No, you're not, dude. You're completely happy with the way things are.
If Arnold Schwarzenegger wasn't forced into a soldier role despite his biology, why are ordinary men told their biology predetermines their duties?
Mostly because, if you can use Arnold, that'd be because it's what we see in the media all the time, so what we're expected of. You just expect a taller man, buffer man to be strong.
I don't think they do that anymore now. They
In the media, it's always some outside force, yeah.
haven't done that since, slavery. They look at somebody and say, oh, yeah, you look good, like you would be on the field, so then they put you on the field. So, that's like them, making everybody be in the army. They don't do that so much anymore. It's more free will. Now, somebody's going to look at you and say, oh, you're 6'7", you should play basketball. Well, that just makes... I'm not going to say sense, but you're tall, one would think. But as much as it used to be, I don't think it's that bad anymore.
If we don't assign jobs based on...
She's wrong. She's wrong. If it wasn't that bad anymore, men wouldn't be deselected in masses would they? They're deselected and they're spit on. And they're held back from unemployment and education. She's just wrong.
Physical traits, why assign relationship roles based on them?
There should not be.
She's laughing. She's embarrassed. It's always embarrassed laughing, right? Because the questions have obvious answers. Answers she doesn't want to give.
Relationship roles. I do not agree with that.
That's so valid. I think that in a relationship, sometimes you play a certain role, if that makes sense, but you're not required to.
He should ask that woman, okay, if you get a man, will you get him to be the house husband? Of course, she'll say, oh, no, we both have to work because it's too expensive. But she wouldn't. Anyway.
So, I'm not sure.
Shouldn't personal choice matter just as much at home as it does at work?
Yeah, it should.
100%, especially because personal choice is what leads to happy families.
Well, why isn't it that way?
Again, I'd have to say because of what everyone's been taught and what everyone's used to and the social norms that are around.
Like, if you see a man,
Yeah. That's a bullshit answer.
like, you usually expect them to be hardworking, to be handy and stuff. And some men, that's not
Sorry, the way this woman is made up, I can tell this is going to be an empty answer.
what they're good at. That's not, what they do. And it's just like the society thinks like that's just men. That's just what they're for.
Why are biological arguments called oppressive when they restrict women, but traditional when they restrict men?
I think both are oppressive equally. It's not fair to tell somebody, man, woman, whatever.
No, she doesn't. She's lying. She doesn't think they're both. She's happy with men getting oppressed. She'll only speak up and call it sexist when her gender is affected negatively.
Because of their biology that they can or should play a certain role.
Mostly because for women, they've been able to stand up a little bit more for themselves and have the chance to stop biological repressions.
Now, he's actually right there for a change. Women are willing to step up. You know why? Because they're always accepted. There's no consequences to women changing things. Zero. Right? Men face consequences. The thing is, we're facing worse consequences if we don't change at this point.
Why aren't men able to do that?
Usually seen as less if you do try to, or it's not quite as accepted as it would be for, like, if you were a woman, for example.
There you go. It's not accepted. Thank you, dude. What I just said, consequences.
Is that equality or selective empathy?
I'd say it's selective empathy because you can look at a woman and say, oh, it sucks that she's hurting, and see a man in the same situation and think, oh, well, maybe he deserves it.
Not every woman can take
Yeah, truth. Every once in a while, that guy will speak the truth.
themselves outside of the idea and the world that they're living, just to see how a man lives and what a man has to go through. So that's why I feel like it's selective. Not all women live that and understand it.
Why do religious people who believe in freedom and also free will push a narrative that men and women are locked into roles based on biology?
That one I have to say just because it's not exactly free will. It's free will based on what they wish and less of what's actually accepted.
So
What? Sorry, dude. That's you. And by the way, dude, you can speak slowly if you like, or at least slower. This guy is acting like he's being grilled at an exam or something.
is that actual freedom?
Now, it's freedom in what they wish it to be. It's not freedom in the actual sense of the word.
Because of tradition. It's
Then just say it's not freedom. Be honest, dude.
always been that way. And we tend to follow it very, very closely. Humans do. Social standards have completely changed, but it's always a lot of people kind of go back to that same tradition, even though it can be whatever you want to be now.
No, that's a non-answer. Right? We just do it because we're used to doing it. Right. Try asking a question about, hey, should this change for women? Or why hasn't this changed for women, right? Then she'll say, she won't say it's just because it's always been the way. She'll say it's sexism. It's the patriarchy, right?
Why should biology be irrelevant in every part of modern society except dating and gender roles?
Only because of the fact that, anyone has the power to do anything. You can be a woman and still build up your strength to be as strong as a man.
That was a gibberish answer. Gibberish.
Biology actually the reason, or just the last remaining justification for old-fashioned expectations?
Honestly, I think I see it from the both man and woman standpoint as a justification for old-fashioned ways.
No, no, no. Sorry. It's complicated. You should have used the word exploitation, not expectations. Exploitation.
It's definitely the last remaining option that they have right now, but they're going to push it as hard as they can because it's quote-unquote biology.
If equality matters, why does biology determine men's obligations but women's choices?
Oh, I think honestly, it should determine both choices because, like I said,
Okay, she's trying to do this horseshit of saying, oh, we all should be like this, right?
man or a woman can play both parts. It just might take more work for a woman to do a blue collar job and more work for a man to do something, like you said, maybe find motor.
Nonsense. Women do blue collar jobs all the time. Isn't waitressing a blue collar job? Lady? Women fill those roles all the time.
skills, but I think both can do both.
Who decided which responsibilities are flexible and which are mandatory?
I think just old societal standards are kind of what set that precedent.
There you go. It's all just these standards, right? Someone set them. We don't know who it is, right?
Again, probably the same people in power, usually some man or someone who decided they had to be more manly, so everyone else has to be as well.
The people that decided
Yeah, that's a lie, dude. Calling you out there.
that women couldn't own property or file for divorce on themselves. It's the same one that it's a way to control. It's how everything in the society is. It's all about control.
Yeah, but you notice, lady, that the control is one gender. It's gender specific. So what you're saying is a cop-out.
Do weaker or smaller men lose their man card simply because they don't match the biological script society expects?
As awful as it sounds, absolutely. Women choose men that are taller and
There, she's getting it. Women choose. Thank you, strange lady. Women choose. She finally admitted it.
seem more stronger, even though a man that might be shorter might be able to do the same thing. It's just the way that society has shaped it.
And
She mentions women, then goes to society. Right.
finally, why would it ever make sense to complain about double standards if men and women are biologically different?
Yeah, I guess that's a valid question. I think that when you're in a relationship, things should be even as far as like effort, but men and women are biologically different. So it makes sense to.
Yeah, she's not answering the question. This is a non-answer. I see what you mean. Here's my non-answer.
For a double standard to not make sense.
So what determines which double standards are okay and which ones aren't?
Women do. Now, let's see what this gal has to say.
I would say it differs relationship to relationship, depending.
No, it doesn't, you lying sack. This is universal.
On the people and what you actually think are standards for your relationship.
Do you think it depends on who has the power?
If this was an individual, you wouldn't see it across the board the way you do. Right.
Power to enforce those double standards?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
I guess. Do you mean depending on the man or the woman that makes the double standards? Honestly, I'm not sure. That's actually a really good question I've never thought about.
No, you're sure. You're sure, lady. You're lying now.
Before, if I guess one person, yeah, in the relationship does have to have the power. Otherwise, it's just they make no sense.
So they have to have the power. One person, you see, hey, this is the egalitarian mindset of the average woman. She's admitting it finally. Women do not get together with men and expect a partnership. They are the ones in power. She's admitting it here.
But I'm not sure who.
Yes, you are, you lying sack. What a lying sack. Thank you. It's complicated. We'll stop it here. I appreciate your videos. Oh my God.